On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are here to talk about some absolutely crazy road rage and what could have been my last video yesterday. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and first things first, my back is slightly better. I went to see a chiropractor this morning and he adjusted my back. It sounded like it was breaking, but he popped it in, I don't know, 30 different directions on my neck and everything, and the pain kind of instantly went away, but now it's like a dull pain that's still kind of there. I just wanted to mention that real fast because there were a million comments that were worried about it. I think it's okay. Now, on to the real issue. Yesterday, when I was coming home with the alternator for the Corvette over there, the Z06, there was one of the craziest road rage incidents I've ever been a part of in my life. So I had the Angry Altima out yesterday. I was driving around. I'm coming back to the shop from the O'Reilly's hub all the way across town, and just having a great day. I mean, the GTR is always a crowd favorite, a traffic favorite. Everybody is like driving beside it, getting videos and all that stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And there was a Hyundai Genesis on the road, and he was like recording and everything like that. I was making it shoot some fire. We were having a good time. And then about a mile later, we pulled up to a stoplight, and this stoplight was loaded up with about 8 people. And this is at 8:36 p.m. if I remember right, because I was watching the clock the whole way home, knowing that I needed to be out of the shop with that alternator installed by 9 p.m. so that you guys could see the video by 11:45, of course. Somehow this all worked out, even though I ended up spending almost 45 minutes dealing with the police here and all the craziness that ensued after this. So I really debated making this video because it might seem like a sensitive issue to some because of how crazy it got, but honestly it's just like the reality of what happened yesterday. So I feel like it deserves a mention. I mean, the channel's about my life, not just about cars, but this happened in a car and was my life, so it totally belongs on the channel. So anyway, we're driving down the road. This is a 2-lane divided highway, so we're gonna draw the road here so you guys have a good idea of what's going on. And I say that we're gonna draw the road, and then like, it doesn't draw. Okay, there we go. We're gonna draw the road, and there's another lane. Apparently I just need to push pretty hard, and obviously there's our center lines, and then here is the oncoming lane, and we'll draw that out real quick. Oh, the whiteboard's actually working kind of good today. Anyway, tons of traffic. There's a stoplight right here. We're gonna call this the stoplight. And there's car, me, right here. Do a caret or something like that. Car. The traffic light's loaded with about 8 cars, and this car right here, this is the one that everything is, the whole situation hinges on. This is the road rage guy, and this is where everything gets crazy. So, light turns green, everybody takes off, and this lane, of course, is moving with the flow of traffic and the speed limit. Everything is as you would expect over here, and as these guys try to filter off, this guy is over here, he takes off from the light, and he's going 20. The vehicle's a 1999 Ford F450 in white with a camper bed. I'll post a picture of it right here, and we'll reference it one more time later on in the video so you can see what actually went down. Anyway, it's actually a really nice looking truck, and I assumed it was some 80-year-old man because he's going 20. But instead, he was being the police. He thought he was the traffic police, apparently. So everybody's going around him. We get up here, and all the traffic's filtering around him as he moves forward, and filtering around him, and just like everyone's doing that move to get around him and get back over in the right lane where they belong. I'm like the last person to go around him, and we'll say he's here at this point, and there's a car here, and I'm here, so I do the old, you know, and it was like not a close pass in any way. I probably had a good 100 feet in front of him. Like, that's a pretty accurate depiction of the other car and him, and then me kind of going through there. And I'm slightly in the power, so by the time I passed him, I was like way past him. And of course, within 1 second of that, I'm over here now. I'll do my caret, and that guy just comes flying up onto my bumper as fast as he can. I was like, oh no, here we go. And that's, of course, when somebody does that, you already know that like something bad is happening at this point. But you know, in my head, I was like, maybe he's just finally trying to do the speed limit. And I'm the first to admit that sometimes I pass cars. This was not one of those times. It was not an aggressive pass. I had tons of room, and all of a sudden he does that maneuver. So I have a right turn up here. Well, this highway actually goes on, but there's a road right here that I take. It's the back road to my shop. So I go ahead and take my right turn. That's pretty funny. It connected my arm to the turn. And we're going to erase all this because this is where the entire thing starts to get really bad. This is where it all went south. So now we're going to take the next turn where I just showed you guys my right turn, and we're going to start it down here and redraw what the back road is to my shop here. So here's our right turn. Oh, we got to select a pin here. Okay, so here is our right turn, and this road goes like this, and it also goes like this, and way down here like that. Okay, I hope you guys appreciate my map making skills. They're pretty bad. So I take my right turn and I keep it nice and tight with the car, and I see him follow me, and I was like, yeah, whatever, maybe he lives back in this neighborhood. And then I do my another like very obvious, not like I didn't cut the intersection like I normally would, and then I make my obvious turn into that road, and that guy does the 45 and just goes straight in as fast as he can, inches off my bumper. And this is no exaggeration, and I was like, well, this is about to go south fast. At that point, I'm worried because you've got, you know, probably somebody that's just going crazy chasing you. So right here is where the GTR did the GTR thing. I know it. I know this road very well. I know right about here there's like a ditch, and the road dips way down, and if you're over on this side of the lane, things will get really bad for you really quick. There's a huge issue with the pavement right there where it dips down. Anyway, the GTR does its GTR thing, blah, 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 you know, and I was gone. I was like, if we don't get out of here now, things are gonna turn like, you know, deadly in an instant. I don't want to have this confrontation with this guy, so I'm just going to get out of Dodge. So he had nothing to be mad about at this point, but he was already on my tail, and I took off just a little bit right there, and I saw him stay behind me as fast as he could with that old 7.3 diesel, and at that point I was like, nope, this is bad, and I was gone. So I was going 60 mile an hour instantly, which is where I was hanging out, and he told the cops he was going faster than that, but you know what, that's a difference of opinion. And I turned this corner because it's completely blind over here. There's like a forest here. I knew like once I got around there, I was home free because I can get to my shop. So that is all the map making I needed to show you guys. I wanted to make sure that was illustrated well because I had to explain all this to the police, and we have reports of all of this and all kinds of good stuff. That's exactly how this went down. I can tell you that I lost that guy, and I was sure that I was okay. Now the problem is, once he comes around this corner, he could have seen my shop, so I couldn't stop and pull inside, which is what I should have done anyway, just to like end the whole issue. But I didn't. I figured I would just disappear, park the car somewhere where he couldn't see it. Unfortunately, that guy was here to escalate the situation as far as he could and went on a hunt for the car, and he found it. And that's when things got bad. So I parked the car over here. There's a 6-foot hill. I know that like unless you were really searching through all of the streets in the neighborhood, he would have never seen it. I came inside, I run over here because I'm down to like 15 minutes to get this car done and get back to you guys. If I don't leave here by 9, things get real iffy with me making a video for the day, because that leaves me with you know, less than 2 hours to get the whole thing out. Anyway, I go over to the cameras real quick and take a look just to make sure he wasn't like outside or anything like that, and I thought I was all clear. So I come over here to the door. Perfect, it's dark. It was pitch black last night, but at least it's dark. I see that truck coming around the corner over there. And immediately I'm like, well, this isn't good. So I stayed there in the door, just kind of watching to see what happened. And he comes moseying down this street, sees the car. It's parked right here at an angle because there's no chance you could see it over this hill. The hill's taller than the car. And he pulls up right here in front of my other building and just parks. So I just, I sat here and watched from the door for a long time, and I can see him in there on the phone. And I was like, all right, well, you're just kind of wasting my time at this point. I don't know what you're gonna do here. Like, why would you call the cops? I've been around the sun a few times here. I'm not a lawyer. But if there's one thing I know, it's if the cops didn't see it, they can't do anything about it, especially if there's no video evidence. So I know that guy has no case, and I'm like, why is he calling the cops when he's sitting on my property? He's like put me in a position where I have like absolute power over everything that happens here at this point, right? So anyway, he's sitting over there, and the car's parked at an angle, and I'm sure he's like telling the police my tag number or something, and I'm like, I don't know why. Like, you're the aggressor and you came after me. I got to safety. And in my head, I'm just sitting here like, well, you're wasting my time. So finally, I was like, all right, let's go talk to the man. So I come down here, walk over to his truck, and he, of course, won't roll his windows down. And we're talking, this is not a small dude. This is like a corn-fed, 35-year-old guy, shaved, dirty white wife beater, like no hair at all, and like sitting there in his truck with the windows up, and he won't look at me or anything. So I stand like far enough back from his vehicle, again, not being aggressive. I don't need to start anything here. And I just kind of stood there. And finally he rolls his window down after like 2 minutes or something like that. And I'm like, hey man, what's going on? So he's sitting there and he starts just absolutely cussing me out immediately and saying that I can't drive and I cut him off and all this stuff when I was nowhere near that. And then he just rolls his window right back up and keeps talking on the phone. And I can see it's on speaker. I can see it says emergency services. And I was like, oh, cool. No problem at all. As long as he's talking to the police and not here to try to, you know, do something more deadly, we're good. So I walk back to the back of his truck, take a picture of his truck and his tag and everything like that, just in case he ever comes back for retaliation reasons and stuff like that. Not aggressive. I'm staying away from his truck, all of that good stuff. And he rolls his window back down and starts talking to me again. And I was like, hey man, like, I just want to know what you think happened or why you're upset. So we talk for a little bit. He keeps cussing me out and calling me the P word over and over. And he's like, then call the cops, call the cops, call the cops. You know, you won't do it because you're P word, P word. And I was like, I in my head, I can't calculate this because I was like, but you're trespassing on my property. I did nothing wrong. You want me to call the cops on you? So I didn't. I was like, I'm trying to have a conversation with you man to man. And he was like, call the cops, screaming at me. I was like, you're on the phone with the cops. So anyway, he stays on the phone with them forever. And I decided, I was like, you know what, I'll just get out of here and end this. So I go to back up the car. He backs up his truck, blocks the car in immediately. And I was like, all right, well, you know, the next charge here is kidnapping if you prevent me from leaving my property. But I didn't go there. I didn't say anything else. I was just like, fine. I mean, I'll stand here. And I go ahead and just walk around the car, head back towards the building. And right then I see the PD's 2022 Explorers. This whole city has 2022 Explorers. Same ones I just made that video about, coming from both directions. And I was like, yes, thank you, God. And I like walk right back down the stairs. I'm like waving them down, and the cop does a U-turn, pulls in right here, and that's where things got fun. I walk up to it and I was like, hey, this guy says I cut him off, but he's on my property, and I just I wish he wasn't here because this whole situation's like really sketch. And he walks around his truck and goes, this guy cut me off and then pulled a gun on me and threatened to kill me. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like screaming at this point. I was like, I don't have a weapon. I don't have a weapon. I promise I do not have anything. And the cop's like, stop talking. And I was like, no, I don't have a weapon. And she was like, both of you shut up. And I was like, okay, good, good. So she gets on the radio and is like calling dispatch. The other guy gets out of his car and is like walking up as fast as he can. And they like separated us because we were standing kind of close by that car. And we go off to take statements. And I was like, here's what happened. I explained the whole thing just like I did to you guys on the whiteboard just now. And I was like, word for word, other than the fact that like the GTR went 60 miles an hour. That's how fast it went. But that had nothing to do with him. There was not a safety issue. I wasn't around him. I was trying to get away from the problem. Anyway, that guy tried to basically have my life ended last night with those lines. It could have gone sideways like really fast. So I like huge thank you to the cops for, you know, being like crazy professional. The adrenaline rush hit so fast right then. I mean, I was explaining everything as fast as I could. It was everything gets real clear real fast after that. So anyway, they want me to write a report. The report looks like garbage because I'm shaking the whole time as I'm coming down from the adrenaline and it's cold. But anyway, that was a whole lot of fun. It took like 45 minutes of my night. And of course, at the end of it, they were like, all right, it's he said, she said, but you admitted to going 100 miles an hour. I was like, you should ticket him. But instead, they just told him to get off my property. And that was the end of it. So that was one of the craziest things that's happened in a long time. I mean, I don't mind if you want to have some road rage things and call the cops and like well, let's talk it out. But that guy took it way too far. It's not how you have an interaction with the police. And he escalated it for everybody because, of course, all of a sudden they're worried and I'm worried. Everybody was worried except for that guy that had one mission that was like eliminating me. Anyway, there's a big storm right now. So anyway, the time between starting on the Corvette project and finishing it was very interesting, and I almost missed the daily upload, and all because someone wouldn't just laugh at me when I passed him. And I get that the car is loud, I get that it can be kind of obnoxious, but you know, if it would have been an 80-year-old man, he would have just laughed at me, as all 80-year-old men do. They have that wisdom. So they just don't go do ridiculous things like that. And that was just the escalation of the whole event. What an unbelievable thing. Anyway, again, huge thank you to the police, the local police here, for seeing through that nonsense and for just de-escalating the whole thing as fast as possible. And I was already trying. Like, I offered to shake the guy's hand and say my bad. I get that we disagree, and that didn't work out. Anyway, a different video, and tomorrow we'll be back on the Saab again, now that the giant storm has passed. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjrgo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. I'm sure there's going to be people that don't believe the story or are quick to judge and say you were in a GTR, you were in the wrong, because that's just like what people do for some reason. But I promise, if there was video footage, this is word for word what happened. I was so excited for the police to show up because I knew I was totally safe at that point because I literally did nothing wrong. And what I should have done, though, is just drive straight to the police station. I can see it from my building, and I was so relieved for them to be here. I should have just gone there, and then it would have been problem solved immediately. But the problem is, I didn't have time. I needed to, get away from the situation and go back to work. That's all I wanted to do, and it turned into this. So if that happens to you, the correct thing to do is to go to the police station if somebody's, aggressively following you and you're, worried about what's going to happen next. Because that is the exact person that was sitting in that truck where it would turn really bad really fast if the police weren't there. Also, it seemed like the building was gonna fly away earlier. I'll post some videos of the storm. Ooh, no more power in the warehouse. Hopefully, oh, can't beat that. That didn't last terribly long.